Hello, everybody, and welcome to a video for LFC Transfer Room. We're doing something a bit different for the channel. We're going to start doing a weekly predictions for the Premier League game weeks. Starting with game week 3, I've started late, naturally, because our focus has been on the transfer window. As I'm recording, it is deadline day tomorrow, so stay tuned to the socials, the Twitter accounts, all that good stuff. Stay tuned to that for any hopeful breaking news in regards to incomings. But anyway, I'll get to it. It's game week 3, some big games. Arsenal playing Brighton. Of course, the trip to Old Trafford being the main one. A couple of tricky trips maybe for Man City. Chelsea play Palace. And of course, Newcastle play Spurs as well. So we'll run through game by games. I'll give the indications of what I think might happen. Obviously, it's not gospel. I won't put your money on it. You never know. But this is what I think game by game, what will happen this week.
Hey, if you're enjoying this video, there are some things you can do to help out this channel. Leave a like on this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and make sure that you have the bell notification on for any future videos or streams that we have. Now, back to the video.
So we'll start with Arsenal, 12:30 kickoff, at home to Brighton. Now, I keep flipping between the two on this. Arsenal have had a perfect start. Okay, we're only 3 games in, but that away trip to Villa, they were quite fortunate to come away with 3 points. But it's a big one. You go to Villa Park, where probably Watkins should have won the game for Villa, but they came out unscathed, come out with a big 3 points. It's a massive confidence boost. They didn't get any points, as far as I know, against Villa last season, so Arsenal will be using that as a major point for their title charge this season. Brighton, I thought, were quite poor against United, even though they picked up 3 points, luckily in the end. Happy days for us Liverpool fans. But I think they were quite poor overall. The midfield looked out of whack. I do like Brighton, the way they play, obviously under a new manager. They brought in some interesting transfers. But I just think Arsenal at home are going way too strong. They just picked up from where they were the last season. I think the only hope is that the early kickoff aspect's going to come into play for Arsenal. But overall, I think Arsenal are going to keep a clean sheet in this one. Another solid display. I'm going to go with 2-0 Arsenal on this one. Goals for probably Saka. And I think I'm going to throw Ødegaard in there. I think Ødegaard has potential to be probably the player of the season if Arsenal go on to win the league. So I'm going for them too. 2-0, solid win for him. And I just think they'll continue their perfect start. Next up, Brentford Southampton. A bit of it, as from a Liverpool perspective, it doesn't really mean anything. But an intriguing tie. Will Tony actually still be there after deadline day? Will he be at Chelsea? Will he be at Saudi Arabia? Then that'll be the main talking point. Southampton yet to get off the mark. Dominated a couple of games, but not really done anything in terms of in front of goal. They've conceded poor goals. They should have got something against Newcastle, and I think they're just showing the step up from the Championship and the Premier League is quite drastic. Made some intriguing signings, but I think overall they're going to struggle overall this season, and I think they're going to struggle at Brentford as well, even without Tony. Brentford caused a couple of problems at Anfield last week, but I think from a Liverpool point of view, we handled them pretty well. But I back Visser and Mbeumo especially to come out on top on this one. I'm going to go 2-1. I think Southampton might get a goal. Brentford do have a couple of defensive issues at the back, and I'll go 2-1 with Visser and Mbeumo both getting a goal. And you know what? I'll chuck in Lallana to get a late consolation because we all love Adam Lallana deep down. Shame about his injuries, but I'm glad he got a move overall. Everton against Bournemouth is the next one. Now, it's hilarious, isn't it? Everton, shocking start. Probably the worst start, and it's great. It's absolutely brilliant. Just need them to lose Branthwaite in the final day of the window, but separate matter. Yeah, it's toxic over there. We've seen videos come out from the fan base from at the train station after the Tottenham game, yelling at the players. Yeah, it's not great. And I've got a feeling they could go down, even if it's only been 2 games in. I'm just looking at them and going, Pickford, the hilarious mistake he made against Spurs. They have nothing up front. It's just not working for him. Bournemouth, on the other hand, even though they've lost Dominic Solanke, I'm quite impressed with Evanilson. I've watched the couple of games he has played. He looks like a player, a real player. Whether he's going to be a £40 million player, that the fee they paid, could be a different matter. But overall, they play good football. They should have won midweek against West Ham in the Cup. And they were extremely, extremely unfortunate not to pick up 3 points against Newcastle last week. I think they deserve to overall. And the VAR absolute joke fiasco continues in that respect through the apparent handball, which was not clear and obvious. But that's a different matter entirely. I back Bournemouth to go to Everton and get something. And I reckon they'll get 3 points. I'm going to go 3-1 Bournemouth. If they're clinical in front of goal, they'll create chances. And if they could keep the Everton out, I think they could run right a little bit. So I'm going to go 3-1. I'm going to go with Danielson to get off the mark. And I'm going to say actually he'll score 2. I'm going to go... I'll go Tavernier to get another one. It seems to be in good form, Tavernier. And then for the Ev, let's go on. Let's throw in... Let's go in... He's got to score at some point, hasn't he? Let's put in Calvert-Lewin to actually start getting a goal or 2 here and there, but I'm going to go 3-1 Bournemouth. Ipswich Fulham. I'm going to just say I like Ipswich. The football they played in that first game against us was quite refreshing. It's refreshing for a team to come up and actually carry on the style of play that they want to do, and it actually had a bit of an effect, but they didn't really trouble Alisson in goal, of course. This is a big game for Ipswich, even though it's only 3 games in. This is a big one. They need to start picking up points. Obviously, the nightmare start in terms of fixtures. Obviously, Liverpool at home and then Man City away. Took a shock lead at the Etihad, but of course, City just went on to win comfortably. This is a big one in front of the home crowd. They need to start picking up points, build some sort of momentum. Fulham, on the other hand, this is the day before deadline day, so obviously things can change. But I like the business they've done. When they lost Palanier and for the life of me, I can't remember the centre-back that they lost. Adebayo, who went to Chelsea. And I was a bit concerned for them. I didn't see where the goals were coming from. I thought they're going to look pretty weak in the middle. But they've kind of proved me wrong straight away. They brought in Sander Berge, brought in Anderson. I think he used to play for them before. Good, reliable centre-back, can play straight away. Of course, Smith Rowe in your FPL teams. He's in mine. I recommend cheap option. Get him in. He's going to be a vital player for me. I think he's going to get quite a few assists and goals. I'm going to go 2-1 Fulham. I don't like to predict draws, and I think if I was going to predict one, that would be one. But I'm going to go 2-1 Fulham just because they have more Premier League quality. And I think Ipswich are going to take time. They made a lot of signings. I think it's going to take time for them to gel. But I'm going to go 2-1 Fulham. Just a close game. I back them to go on to win. Leicester Villa. I think this is pretty dry cut. I think Villa go on to win 3-0 comfortably. I look at Leicester and think you're relying on Jamie Vardy. You know, good player from his time, still banging in the goals, but Villa, they'll want to make up for last week, where they should have beaten Arsenal. They need to go on and win this game now. Watkins needs to actually turn his form around. He was poor first game, and then the second game misses 2 absolute sitters. He needs to start picking up points in the FPL teams. I'm not going to lie. Just help me out a bit here, Ollie. Help me out a bit. But yeah, I think Villa will go on to win this one quite convincingly. You definitely want to put in your bets. I'm going to go 3-0 Villa. Nottingham Forest Wolves. Forest have started pretty well, I'm not going to lie. I put them down there towards the bottom. It could still end up that way. But they seem to build a bit of momentum. They were unfortunate midweek against Newcastle. Another team unfortunate against Newcastle. But they just didn't take the chances. Of course, lost on penalties. Wolves. Every year, like last year, I said they would go down because they didn't bring anybody of quality in to replace like Ruben Neves, Jean Martinho. But then they surprised us all, finished quite comfortably in the Premier League, quite highly. I think this could be another. I don't think they'd go down, but I think it's going to be a harder season. You know, I think it's going to be a tough one for them, but in this game, it's going to be quite close. I think Forest just edge it, just because they've got a bit of momentum behind them, and Wolves took a real pounding last week against Chelsea. So I'm going to go Forest 1-0. 1-0 Forest with let's go Gibbs White goal. Starts hitting some sort of form, especially now he's been selected for the England squad. West Ham, Man City. Let's go 5-0 West Ham. Come on, let's just do it. No. I look at West Ham on paper, and it could still end up that way down the line. But I look at West Ham on paper and go, that should be a top 8 side comfortably, and it shouldn't cause everyone problems. I've watched a couple of games. Like I say, it's a new team. They've made a lot of transfers. But I'm looking at them, and they're quite disjointed. They're quite poor at the back still. Obviously missing Declan Rice. Understandable. But I think they already need a new striker. I don't think Fulcrug's settled in yet. Antonio's starting to fade away. They're going to rely a lot on Kudus in this game, a lot on Jared Bowen. They're going to be on the counter-attack a lot, which might suit them, but City, rich vein of form, of course, already. I think Man City are just going to... I think we all expect them to go on. I'm going to go 4-1. I'm going to back Bowen to get a goal, and I think Haaland are going to get another 2. And then I'm going to go De Bruyne to get 1 and Foden to get 1. Unfortunately, can't see him dropping points just yet. Not until at least maybe other competitions come into play and they start to rotate. But yeah, Man City to win easily on that one. Chelsea versus Crystal Palace. If this was at Crystal Palace, I'd be quite intrigued because Crystal Palace were my pick to be a surprise of the season. But they were really unfortunate last week against West Ham. They hit the bar twice. They didn't take the chances. If they took the chances, they would have won comfortably 4-1, 4-2, easily. But they didn't take the chances. West Ham did. They were clinical. Took both their chances quite convincingly. 2-0. They won last week against Palace. But away at Chelsea are a funny side. I think 1 week they're going to concede 4 goals and score 2. And then the next week, I think they're going to score goals and concede 2. I think at the top end of the pitch, they're going to score a shed ton of goals. Really do, with Palmer and Kunku. If they sign a striker, especially, Madueke's banging form. It's crazy. But I think so imbalanced in midfield when you've got Caicedo, you've got Fernandes. They still don't really work that well together. They don't want to put the dirty work in as much as they should. I think Lavia is going to be probably a bigger player for them this season than probably Fernandes will be. But at the back, there's still concerns. They still don't know the best ones at the back. It's great from our point of view as Liverpool fans, but I think Chelsea will probably... Yeah, I think Chelsea will win this one. Probably not as convincing as last week with the 6-2 against Wolves, but I'm going to go with a solid 3-0 victory for Chelsea. Take it back. No, you know what? I'll go with 3-1 Chelsea. I think Palace will get a goal. I think Eze will get 1. And for Chelsea, I'm going to go Palmer. I'm going to go Madueke, and I'll go Nkunku. Solid win for them. I'm surprised they played so well that they did last week. To be fair, against City, they probably should have picked up at least a point. Jackson obviously very close to scoring. It was just offside, and they had all the chances and didn't take them. So they're definitely going to be an intriguing watch. A club that's in a chaos off the pitch. For the fans of Chelsea, maybe they'll restore a bit of normality on the pitch, but it's still a crazy situation. But I'm going to go 3-1 Chelsea. Newcastle Spurs. Now, this is probably the most intriguing tie of the week for me. Of course, it's not the biggest tie. Man United and Liverpool will always be the biggest fixture in English football. But Newcastle Spurs, on the face of it, I think Spurs would go there and win 2-1, 2-0 because they've looked better in front of goal. Newcastle have looked so... I don't know, first gear. That first game, they were lucky to come away with 3 points. And then against... Who did they play last week? Can't remember who they played last week. For the life of me. But I watched him against Forest midweek. I know it was slightly rotated, but Isak doesn't look right at the moment. Whether that's through a bit of fitness issues or just lack of sharpness, I don't know. But it's the St. James's Park factor for Spurs. Spurs have gone there in good form before, and they've taken a beating. So if St. James's Park gets onside really quickly, gets the atmosphere going, I can see them repeating what they've always done against Spurs in the last couple of years or so, and going on and win. It's such a hard one. I don't know if Solanke's fit. I'm not sure. It hasn't come out yet. I've got a feeling Spurs end that hoodoo of defeats at St. James's Park. I'm going to go 2-1 Spurs. They just look a bit more complete. They should have beaten Leicester that first game of the season, didn't take the chances. They won convincingly last week against Everton. I think they'll use that and they'll get 3 points against St James's Park. Some problem going on at Castle at the moment, especially on the transfer front. Got technically a weaker squad as it stands right now in this moment than they did in May. So bit of uproar and unrest at Newcastle at the moment, and I think Spurs could take advantage of that. Right, the battle of the Baldies, Arne Slot and Ten Hag. All the pressure's on Ten Hag. You know, they've spent 180, 190 million as it stands on players this summer. And in all honesty, they still look a worse side. You know, the two. I know we've only played against Brentford and Ipswich on paper, but we've looked overall convincing. Whereas when I've watched Man United against Fulham and Brighton, they've looked substandard. Fulham, they should have lost. And then against Brighton, they could have won it, but they didn't. They lost. And Mason Mount's now confirmed out injured. Yes, okay, not a massive game changer, but these things add up. I know that Ugarte's, I don't think he's going to make it in time in terms of registration, which is great for us because he improves them. Whether Delict starts, I don't know, but you think Martinez will start for him. Garnacho is probably due a good performance. He always likes to play well against Liverpool. Same with Marcus Rashford. But I think if we can just turn up there and just play. See, under Jurgen Klopp, our football was about emotion. It was high energy, high press, emotional football. And every time, bar probably the once where we went to Old Trafford and won 5-0. I think it was 5-0. Pogba got sent off. We won 5-0. Salah getting a hat-trick. Bar that one time, we seemed to struggle. Even though we were banging form, we'll go there and there's some sort of mental block that we struggle to cope with. I just would like us to turn up, not think about the occasion, don't play the occasion, play the game. And I think we can just go and win comfortably. Turn up, win 2-0, go home. And that'll just wind United fans up rotten. The money they've spent and they still don't look any closer to what they want to be. That's just going to be great from our perspective. It's going to be great for Liverpool. So you know what? I'm a quite pessimistic fan. You know, people who watch streams have been on and people in our chat. I am quite pessimistic, but I think we'll go on to win. I'm going to stick with a 2-0, and I'm going to go with Salah getting one, and I'm going to go with Diaz. Both on continue their fine vein of forms. Let's just go into this international break with 3 wins and the start of Arne Slot's era at Liverpool already becomes quite special. So yeah, they're the first predictions I put out. So let me know what your predictions are in the comments. Of course, give us a like, subscribe. It'd be greatly appreciated. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you all in the next one.